Greetings and welcome. I do indeed think we are broadcasting. As you come on in, please open up the chat box and type a 31 in the chat if you can see me and hear me. Apologize for the clunking around there. Please type a 31 in the chat if you can see me and hear me to make sure that I am talking to more than just this camera here. Shoot some emojis, share some love, and gosh, greetings and welcome to SEM Mondays Live. My name is Stephen Pollitt. Just in case you don't know, I'm the creator of Source Energy Medicine, and I have been sharing Source Energy Medicine publicly since 2005, and I am very excited to have the opportunity to join together again today. Thank God that we are able to connect in this way from the comfort and safety of our own homes, and have this opportunity for you to be able to ask me questions live and in real time, and as a way of continuing to support you during this pandemic, during this health crisis. I am continuing to offer a group. It's a free, open to all group energy healing session that we will get into towards the end. So the first 10 minutes or so will be open Q&A. I have a couple things that I want to talk about, some exciting news to share with you, and then we'll segue into the group energy healing session. So thank you for the 31s and the awesome emojis. I greatly appreciate that. And it's on one hand, this is such an insane, crazy time of high level of uncertainty, high level of stress, high levels of fear, and it has been for a prolonged period of time, right? This has been going on since March for most of us, and sometimes longer, depending on where you are watching from in the world. And those sustained levels of stress and fear and uncertainty, it takes a toll on our physiology. So I love that we have the opportunity to join together in virtual communities from the safety of our own homes or offices, and focus on our own individual health and well-being, and continuing to heal ourselves, and continuing on this journey. I do indeed think that on one hand, we've never had conditions quite like this before as humans. And on the other hand, it is creating massive opportunity for growth, massive opportunity for making positive life change, massive opportunity for making better choices, developing better habits. And, way back when I practiced nutrition, when I was living in New York City, I had this one basic premise that I coached clients basically in over a 6-month period of time, where we made small changes every other week. And at the end of 6 months, it was amazing what we were able to accomplish. And I've been thinking about that process a lot, because a lot of what we did was, I never told anyone what not to eat. More often than not, it was my client knew what would be wise to not eat, but they often didn't know what to eat. So together we would come up with things that would be really, really good food habits, and we would just bless their life, fill their life so full of these good habits that it would literally crowd out the bad habits. And I was reminded of that just recently. I've been diving into Og Mandino's work, who I've heard of his book, 20. I'm probably one of the 25 million copies sold, originally published in 1968. I was clearly not one of those 25 million people who bought the book, and yet a lot of it has to do with according to Og, the difference between those who succeed in life and in any area is the difference between good habits and bad habits, right? Those who are successful in relationships, in career, in finances, in health, have very, very, very strong, very often non-negotiable good habits, and so many good habits that they have pushed out. They've crowded out the bad habits. So it was a beautiful reminder, and also Og Mandino's work lives on today thanks to Dave Blanchard, who started the Og Mandino group and the Og Mandino Foundation with Og's at the request and the cooperation of Og Mandino's widow. So it's kind of cool. So fascinating to me that I am like deeply engrossed in it. And I got to tell you, the title of the book, The Greatest Salesman Ever, is so not appealing to me. And up until a few years ago, thanks to one of my coaches who pointed out very, very bluntly, so sales and marketing were like four-letter words to me until not that long ago. And it's not just me, it's a lot of entrepreneurs, and it's a lot of entrepreneurs who believe we are doing God's work. We think if we're doing God's work, we shouldn't have to advertise and we shouldn't have to sell, we shouldn't have to market. And the reality is, what I have come to fully realize, that if Krishna or Buddha or Jesus were to come again, they'd have multimedia companies. They'd be doing YouTube Live and Facebook Live, and they would be launching online courses and doing things that everyone else who is trying to make a positive impact on the world do. And they would absolutely be marketing, and they would absolutely be selling. And I believe we can sell and we can market in ways of great integrity and with transparency, and providing massive value. When you provide massive value, you should be handsomely rewarded. So there's a lot of really interesting psychology in there, and I talk a lot about this with our source energy medicine practitioners who are non-material source energy medicine practitioners. That's the energy work that we're going to be doing shortly, and it's at the forefront of my mind because we're about to launch a certified source energy medicine coaching program. And gosh, you may have seen some of my emails lately. I thought it was interesting because in thinking about like how do I talk about this, right? Because people have been asking me for this literally since 2005, and what I realized was this was like one of the most frustrating frequently asked questions that I have been asked, and I've been asked it so consistently and persistently by many, many, many people, mostly because it's something that I have desperately, desperately wanted to have available and to offer. Especially, we have a lot of integrative wellness practitioners who come to source energy medicine because it is such a flexible, easy, beautiful complement to whatever practice you already have. But there were so many logistical challenges and time, and it would have required hundreds of hours of, probably tens of thousands of dollars just in travel to become a certified source energy medicine practitioner. And now, thanks to having transitioned fully from doing live events, doing online events, we're able to offer this source energy medicine coaching certification training. And we can do it all from the comfort and safety of our own home. And it's going to be a fraction of what it would have cost before. Before, it would have been very, very cost prohibitive to most folks. Now, my intention is to make it accessible and available and affordable to everyone. So it's interesting to have that shift from one of the most every time somebody asked me, it was like, oh, not again. Because I so desperately wanted to have it available. And it's I have friends who have invested tens of thousands of dollars becoming coaches, some who have invested hundreds of thousands of dollars becoming coaches, but usually that type of coach is working with top level executives, or working in the realm of finances, right? Helping people to figure out their finances, right? Which in those arenas, you can charge $10,000, $20,000 to coach someone. So investing $100,000 in becoming a coach makes perfect sense. And that's not, what a source energy medicine coach would look like. So so we'll be sharing more. And, the cool part is the only prerequisites to become a certified source energy medicine coach are our two fundamentals workshops and the special master class that I produced last April on pandemics and colds and flus, really acute conditions, right? So I think it's very, very, very accessible to anyone who has the interest in. We were going to launch this. We were in the beginnings of getting ready to launch it earlier this year, and then COVID-19 launched, which sidetracked the coaching program. And yet now we have more and more and more people who are asking for it because there are a lot of people who are in career transitions or looking for a second source of income, something they could do from home, and something they can do that's constructive, right? I mean, it is a beautiful way to be able to support someone on their journey with source energy medicine and earn well. So I hope that makes sense to you all, and it's pretty cool the way, I fought all of this technology. I really, really did. I mean, I fought doing source energy medicine because I did not want to be this guy. And, in those days, it was just a guy standing on a stage, but I really did not want to be that guy. When I worked at Healers Who Share, I loved being the guy who was in the office all by himself doing research, or at the workshops, the guy sitting in the last row taking notes. But I am thrilled and feel so grateful, so blessed, so fortunate to have had the opportunity to get over the stories, the limiting beliefs, the fears, and get to the point where now, I so look forward to SEM Mondays. And not that long ago, I fought it. I fought it very, very passionately. And now, I wake up Monday mornings really looking forward to this. So, Marty asks, what do you know about the new vaccines that will affect our genes? I don't know a lot about them, Marty. I haven't done a whole lot of research into them. And, I have a good friend who's a documentary filmmaker named Jeff Hayes, and he produced a wonderful documentary called The Truth About Vaccines. But that's just about, just a general vaccination program that, kids get these days. But some of the vaccines that are on the horizon, the vaccine for COVID-19, for example, a lot of them, I really encourage you to do a tremendous amount of research and know all of the facts. I think there's a lot going on there where there is potential for great risk. I don't know. I think an awful lot of people, not that long ago, it was believed that 40% of the population in the United States would not accept a COVID-19 vaccine, and the statistics have changed. I think a lot of people are looking at that as an easy fix, right? And I don't know. It's certainly an area of alarm for me and caution for me. I love that within source energy medicine, there are so many options that we can explore before something like that, or before an invasive surgery. We have someone in our community whose dog not that long ago looked like was going to need numerous surgeries on joints, right, knees and hips and stuff. So it's going to be 4 surgeries, 6 weeks apart, tens of thousands of dollars, not to mention back and forth to the vet, intense trauma to the animal, anesthesia, antibiotics, invasive surgeries with very low expectation of positive results, right? So tens of thousands of dollars, all of that, and not to mention the emotional trauma to the caregiver. And with the non-material aspect of source energy medicine, the energy work, the dog was able to not have any surgeries and is running around super active, acting like, dog's 10 years younger than chronological age. So, I'm all open to exploring as many options as possible. And within source energy medicine, we certainly have a lot of really, really, really good tools that I would exhaust before committing or even exploring something like that further. So, part of the challenge with vaccines is the residue of the vaccines, and even God, I don't know how old I was when I got my last vaccine, probably 5 years old or 6 years old. And yet, in the various methodologies that I explored, I was energetically tested by practitioners, and I've done testing myself, and there was still residue. So, talking probably like 1966 or 67 was probably the last, I don't know, somewhere in there. Last vaccination I got, and then, fast forward 30, 40 years, and there was still residue. So it's nice to, on one hand, have there's so in early 60s when I got my vaccinations, they were very, 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 very different than what children are getting today. And they were ones for polio and rubella and mumps and measles and things that were very, very serious life-threatening challenges, especially to children. So to have that level of protection when I was a child, but then to be able to later as an adult to be able to completely transform, balance, and restore the residue, that is such a massive blessing. But, it's not only Jeff Hayes' documentary, Vaccines Revealed. There are probably, a half dozen of really high quality documentaries these days about about vaccines. It's an interesting exploration, and most of the experts that are in these documentaries are medical doctors, medical researchers, former former employees from the pharmaceutical industry. So it's an interesting thing to think about and an interesting thing to explore. But, do your research, do your homework. Ultimately, we have to make decisions that make the most sense to us, both intellectually and rationally and logically, but also on an intuitive level, right? We have to follow our inner guidance, and trust that. There's some really good science. There's some really, really good research that shows how accurate our intuition is. And in most cases, in most studies that are done, I'm talking scientific studies, it shows that 9 out of 10 times our intuition is extremely accurate, extremely accurate. And yet that is something that I think most humans completely discount, and it's always to me, gosh, it's like having this gift. It's like having this resource, and then we just don't use it. We don't pay attention to it. We don't embrace it. We don't utilize it. So I remember when it's probably the early 90s when I was starting to learn how to use a pendulum, when I was learning how to dowse. That opened up my awareness of my inner guidance, of my intuition. And it took me about a year and a half to get to the point where I felt like I had a high level of confidence with my pendulum. Just really, I mean, I'm talking about practicing an hour or more a day, because I wanted to use it, more than just as a hobby. I wanted to use it professionally. And it's interesting how by the time I felt like I'd mastered dowsing, I also felt like I didn't need the pendulum anymore, because I would use the pendulum to confirm my intuition, and finally got to the point where I was so confident in my intuition that I didn't even need the pendulum anymore. But often, when in those days when I worked one-on-one with a client, if I didn't use a pendulum, it freaked them out because they didn't know how I was receiving the answers I was receiving. So sometimes using the pendulum helps to build that belief and that confidence from the client. But it's awesome to. You don't have to use a pendulum. You could use muscle testing. I teach a form of finger muscle testing in our online workshops, but there's so many different ways. Wayne Dyer was a big fan of Dr. David Hawkins, and in Dr. David Hawkins' book, best-selling book, Truth versus Falsehood, he teaches a very elaborate method of doing muscle testing, but pretty cool stuff. So I am going to segue into setting things up technically here for doing the group energy healing session. And so if you don't know about the non-material aspect of source energy medicine, we have videos on our YouTube channel. So when we're done here, you can either go to Google or YouTube and just type into the search bar non-material aspect of source energy medicine, and it'll show up. And it's called the non-material aspect, N-O-N, non-material, meaning no material substance, because it's the same technology that's in our charging labels, except there's no charging labels, there's no bottles, there's no water. It's the fastest, most direct approach to being able to, for me to be able to share source energy medicine with you and for you to be able to receive it. Within this realm of healing, it looks like I might be in I don't ever use the word quote unquote healer, but it might look like I am facilitating or acting as a practitioner. And in fact, and I think it's especially true with the energy work, you are always healing yourself. So whether we're talking about charging labels or we're talking about the energy work, you are always healing yourself. And it is that divine aspect of you that permeates your body, it permeates your life. It's the part of the eternal aspect of your being. And it is always that part that is responsible for the blessings and the miracles. And there's certainly, like our job, our role is to just get all of the resistance out of the way, all of the blocks, all of the roadblocks, all of the limiting beliefs that would get in the way from me being able to heal myself. I often talk about this. I talk about this a lot in our online workshops, right? There's this paradox in that we don't need source energy medicine because we are source energy medicine. And yet, without source energy medicine, I wasn't able to heal myself. I wasn't able to come anywhere close to healing myself. So there is this paradox, but what source energy medicine enabled me to do was to transform the resistance to healing, resistance to my own body, be able to be self-balancing, self-healing, and self-correcting. And that, to a large degree, is what we're exploring, right? It looks like we might be working on cancer, or we might be working on MS, or we might be working on diabetes, or we might be working on Parkinson's, or we might be working on Alzheimer's or dementia, or just being interested in maximizing human potential, right? Slowing, reversing, aging, things like that. And yet, what we're really, really doing is shifting consciousness. We're shifting energy level, and we're transforming roadblocks that end up becoming resistance to us living the life that I believe the source that created us intended us to live. Joel Goldsmith said, "Humanhood is something separate and apart from God, or it would not be in so much trouble." And to a large degree, that is the work of source energy medicine, right? It is the return to our divine rightful place, right? It is walking together on that road to God, hand in hand. And might be some of us who are a couple of steps further ahead. And my intention is always to look behind and see who I can help to support, share some experience, share some knowledge, share some tools, some technology, and together we'll all get there. There's, no, as dark and bleak as it seems, I've never been more optimistic for our future. I know we will come to a place that will resemble the kingdom of heaven here on earth, staying in physical form, staying in physical body, where everyone is experiencing complete sufficiency, everyone is experiencing peace. We're completely cooperative and collaborative, and there is no dis-ease, there is no war, there is no struggle and strife. There is sufficiency of everything and in every way that we can experience sufficiency. So on your end, to maximize this opportunity, a minimum of distractions seems to be best. So turn your ringers, your alerts, your other stuff. No multitasking is really the best way to be able to experience this work. because then you have a high level of allowance and low resistance, right? These distractions create resistance. So if you're not in a place where you can sit comfortably or lie comfortably and honor the process and allow this work to be received, then come on back and watch the replay at another time when you can carve out some time to devote to healing yourself. And, it's important for me to know that the session, the energy work is equally effective whether you're watching it live or in replay. And there's absolutely this, and my comment is based on experience and which is based on feedback. There is definitely added benefit to rewatching the replay from any of these SEM Mondays. On one hand, they're all kind of the same and interchangeable, and yet each one does hold a different field of potential and possibility. And there's a lot of variables that goes into explaining that, but just know that any one, doing it once or twice, I've heard from some people who are doing it 2 or 3 times a day, and the feedback has been fantastic in terms of just helping to counterbalance, really to transform the stress and the fear and the uncertainty, helping to maintain our well-being during these trying times. So get comfortable, and if you're in a place that is safe and appropriate for you to lie down, some people like to lie down, and again, if it's safe and appropriate and comfortable for you, closing your eyes seems to help to increase the receptivity. Now, if it's not safe or comfortable or appropriate, please don't, right? Take care of yourself. If you're driving or if you're in a public place or flying an airplane, don't close your eyes. Please use common sense. I almost feel silly saying that every time, but I know there's someone sitting in a hot tub, and if a lot of people experience higher levels of consciousness. They get so deeply relaxed and really in the flow of the energy that sitting in a hot tub could be potentially dangerous, right? Or floating in a swimming pool. Certainly closing your eyes while driving or flying an airplane or things like that, just like don't do it, right? So I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera off and get things going on my end. And as I do that, I invite you to choose one goal or one challenge, right? Something that you want to focus your attention on, something that you would like to receive. Then, there is no order of difficulty when it comes to blessings or healing or miracles, because it is that divine aspect within each of us that is the healer, that is the facilitator, that is the messenger bringing the miracle. And from that perspective, you could not be more worthy, which means you are completely worthy. You are worthy in ways that probably are hard to comprehend, but you are an aspect of divinity pretending to be a human, right? Pretending to have this individualistic experience when in fact it's really not accurate, right? We are spiritual beings having this temporary human experience, and reality is we are all one, and we are one in this divine energy. We are one in this divine consciousness. So I invite you to take a nice deep breath and trust the process. Get as comfortable as makes sense for you and as appropriate. And continue to breathe comfortably. And as much as possible, try and see yourself accurately, not through the lens of illusion. And when I say accurately, I mean the way the source of all creation sees you. The source of all creation is always looking at you, always focusing attention on you, always loving you, always blessing you, always encouraging you, always healing you, always blessing your life with everything that you need, whether it's time or financial resources or a connection or an introduction or a book. The source of all creation can't not think about you. When the source of all creation thinks of you, I believe the source of all creation sees you as whole, innocent, divine, perfect in every way, eternal, filled with unlimited potential and possibility. The source of all creation is constantly guiding you, leading you, providing you with the answers to any problem that could present itself. We are here to create, and as creators, there are always going to be problems to figure out, to solve, and the source of all creation gives you the answers before you recognize that you have a problem or a difficulty or a challenge to overcome. Simply allow and trust in your inner guidance, trust in your inner knowing, trust in that voice. Continue to breathe comfortably, continue to allow. And if you have a hard time seeing yourself the way the source of all creation sees you, simply think, what am I thinking about myself that the source of all creation is not thinking? And what is the source of all creation thinking about me that I am not thinking? And simply choose which perspective you wish to believe in. invite you to take a nice deep breath. Continue to allow and continue to receive. Please know that even though this work is phenomenally fast, and that was a very, very short amount of linear time, please know that this work will continue to literally be uploaded, downloaded, and installed into every aspect of your being for hours to come. And again, there is definitely added benefit to revisiting either this or another one of the group sessions from SEM Mondays towards the end of the day or tomorrow. It certainly helps to reinforce this work, and you get to choose a different goal or a different challenge that you would like to work on the next time. So so next Monday, I will not be here live with you. It's a holiday here in the U.S., and emails will go out with a couple of different videos that are on our YouTube channel that I think would be super helpful for you between now and next time we're together. Be 2 weeks from today. Stay connected. Check in with either some of the SEM Mondays that you have missed, and even if you fast forward and you just watched or experienced the energy healing, I think it would be an awesome way to support you. Not just during this crisis, but certainly during this crisis, it has heightened things. So, as always, thank you for joining me here, for carving out time to continue to heal yourself. It's often sad to me when I get an email from someone and they feel like they should have been, they found out about source energy medicine 10 years ago and they didn't do anything, right? They didn't either get started, or they got started and they didn't stick with it. So in the beginning, sometimes it just takes sheer willpower, and I love that we have YouTube to join in community and to request support, to ask questions. We have online courses to support you so you can learn to master source energy medicine. You can become a certified source energy medicine coach in the near future, and you can learn how to do the energy work as well. And we have the free Source Energy Medicine Quick Start Guide. There's ways of being able to ask questions inside the Quick Start Guide, and if you are completely new to Source Energy Medicine, I'll include a link to this video so that you can register for the Source Energy Medicine Quick Start Guide. It includes everything that's essential to your journey with Source Energy Medicine, not just getting started, but long term. It includes the complete charging label file, my complete book, Heal Thyself in electronic version, how to take videos. I think there are 16 different modules. It's all very well organized. It's in our safe private community, so you always know how to access that. I'll include a link to the Quick Start Guide below this. And if you found this helpful, please consider subscribing to my channel. This is absolutely the best way that I can continue to help you. And that cool little bell icon, if you click that bell icon, then YouTube will notify you when I upload a new video or when I am live. And YouTube makes it very, very, very easy to share videos. So if while you were watching this, while you were experiencing the energy healing, if someone came into your mind, trust that is that inner guidance, trust that intuition, click the little share link and just follow the prompts. So pretty sweet, pretty easy. And, I always think that sharing source energy medicine is like such an easy thing to do because what you're sharing is free, right? What you're sharing could be an answer to someone's prayers, right? And just leave it up to them to decide whether it makes sense to them. It's something that they want to explore or not. So you're sharing the Quick Start Guide with them, or you're sharing this video with them, is not going to cost them tens of thousands of dollars. They certainly do have to invest some time and energy, but our technology is shared openly and freely for all. And, a lot of people don't get why I do that. And the biggest reason why I do that is even if what's in the Quick Start Guide was offered for $10, $9.97. Likely, over 2 billion people on this planet would not have the $9.97 to invest in the Quick Start Guide. And I don't know about you, but that just seems so unfair. So I offer everything that's essential to your journey for free so that we don't have folks who have $10 and those who don't have $10. And my heart goes out to every human on this planet who's interested in healing themselves. So, and you know, Course in Miracles teaches us that we become generous out of our own self-interest and it's not about manipulating the universe to get what I want, but if I truly do recognize that we are indeed all one, if I make something cost prohibitive to 2 billion people on this planet, in a sense, right, energetically, I am withholding something from a part of me, right, a very big part of me. So by openly and freely sharing source energy medicine with everyone, not only does it feel good and empowering and exciting, but it feels like, you know, in the beginning, I thought source energy medicine was given to me just to heal myself. And I have to laugh at that now because, you know, my biggest argument with God in the beginning about not wanting to do this was like, you picked the wrong guy, right? I am not the guy to, you know, to stand on the stage and teach this and to figure it all out and to learn how to explain it and certainly not write a book and certainly not have a YouTube channel. But apparently God knew more than I did in those days. And as always, I wish you continued blessings on your journey with Source Energy Medicine. God willing, I will see you back here live in 2 weeks. Bye for now.